Welcome to the Liberating River, where spiritual freedom meets soul aligned wealth. I'm your guide, Wanda F. Nesbitt. Let's break free, build boldly, and live fully together.
Because if they're at war, your body's going to be at war, your mind is going to be at war, and things are not going to work out. You don't want to believe me? Okay, listen. Sociologists like um, Emily Durkheim and Victor Turner, they talk about and they show us that communities use rituals to turn pain into purpose. To turn pain into purpose. So again, that means that your nervous system, your being is tweaked. They even went as far as said every culture has a story about suffering. Every culture has a story about suffering. Basically, it boils down to this. Some say hardship is punishment. Others say hardship is initiative. In many African and indigenous communities, trials are viewed as rites of passage, a sacred gateway or a sacred door into deeper wisdom. And when meaning is shared, resilience multiplies. So that means you strengthen. And of course, can't forget about this. 'Cause this is unfortunate, but this is part of life too. A lot of modern Western cultures, as we here in the United States, we deal with, it teaches tough it out, get over it. Don't go to a therapist. Don't get therapy. Don't be a punk. That's your issue. So instead of community, you're teaching go through it alone. After reading all of those little blurbs and articles I saw, it is evident everyone's definition of resilience is different. And it's unfortunate because some resilience is actually cultural, it's talking about community, it's talking about, unfortunately, isolation. When you're isolated, you and I both know pain is heavier, it feels heavier. But truthfully, resilience isn't a solo sport. We should not be doing this alone. We heal at the pace of connection. We have to connect with others. So ask yourself, who helps you to reinterpret your story when you're weary? What community reminds you that you are not alone in your becoming? Again, we're here for you. This is your community. You don't have to go through life alone. Build a community, build your village. It should be a spiritual, familial, creative community. It should be a spiritual, familial, creative community. And family doesn't mean blood. You build your village, a village that will support you. I didn't say everyone is going to agree with you because that's not what the situation is about. That's not what this is about. Agreeing with you, you're building a village that makes you feel 100% safe, honest. Honesty has to be there. Truthfulness has to be there. Respected and supported. You have to. That's the only way you will survive. That's the only way you will evolve. And what it also does, by you establishing that community, that village, it physically manifests in your body. Remember, your body is listening to the narrative or the story you are creating in your mind, in your internal. And how? You don't have to believe me. Guess what? Neuroscientists calls this process cognitive reappraisal. It is reinterpreting a stressful event to reduce its emotional sting, reprogramming, making those 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 mental connections to shift, severing ties wherever. And guess what? People who regularly reframe adversity have lower cholesterol levels and stronger immune systems. And you already know I'm gonna do it, right? Why? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the body listens to the story we tell it. Whatever you internalize, that's why people talk about food and what you drink and blah, 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 that it affects your body. Listen, how much more what you concentrate on, what your mind is holding on to, what you entertain in your mind is going to affect your body. If your inner narrative is I'm under attack, watch. Your body goes to war. But I guarantee you, if your inner story makes a shift and you say, you know what? I'm being refined, your body begins to heal. Proverbs 17:22, it talks about a joyful heart is good medicine. I I remember hearing, um, laughter is good for the soul, right? That's not naive optimism. That's called trained joy. Peace does not erase pain, it repurposes it. So, what if we changed the narrative and asked, what if this isn't happening to me, but for me? Think about it. Say you running late for a meeting. I know a lot of us can attest to this, right? You running late for a meeting. How many times have we heard people say, "Oh, that's time management." Time management. Or they'll keep going on and say, "You don't appreciate people's time," or "You need to work on that. You need to be more scheduled. You need to be more whatever." I know you've heard it. I've heard it. I just want to tell people to shut your mouth. Stop talking. Because sometimes it's not even about that. We have been taught to never think differently and think outside the box. What if, what if God, the supreme being, the I am, is actually protecting me? After all, as the divine said, I'm protecting you from dangers seen and unseen. How many times have you put something on your schedule, right? And nothing, absolutely nothing seemed to go right. Nothing. What about when your whole schedule gets jacked up somehow? Double booking, triple booking, because maybe the computer didn't update properly, and then it's like, oh, you kind of stuck. What about those times when you're just, again, like I said, running ridiculously late for something for whatever reason? But then come to find out, you were protected from a danger you definitely did not see. So the next time anxiety rises, try whispering and reframe. Try saying, what if this isn't happening to me, but for me? Now, I will put this in because I know some people might say and have some feelings for that because there's just some things that uh, you definitely did not want to happen to you, and I get that. But still, in the midst of those horrific moments, how can I refocus my thoughts? You can absolutely do that. How can I might not be able to change this immediate outcome, but how do I build my defenses, put up my barriers so I can be protected and deflect should anything else happen? Should anything else of this nature come across my plate again? You can absolutely do that. And when you do that, notice your breath. Notice how your chest feels, how your body feels. What loosens? Are you still tight and clenched or are you looser? What you're going to notice is that your nervous system is learning safety through your spiritual truth and what you tell your body. All right, let's take a moment right here. We're going to stop. We need to ground. We need to ground. So inhale peace, exhale resistance. Inhale awareness, exhale judgment. Let your breath remind you perception is a choice. Your body follows what your mind rehearses. Tell it to yourself again. Perception is a choice. Your body follows what your mind rehearses. I want to tell you about this little story. So, um, I had a friend, Mo. She lost her job during the height of the pandemic. I want to say it was like the middle of 2021. For months, I remember she had labeled herself in the situation as a failure, because it was just a hard time for like all the way around for families, for work, for just living, right? But as many of you did during the pandemic, she did. She had a moment and she was telling me that she had thought maybe this gives me the time to start my business. I wanted to start about 4 years ago. I said, yeah, why not? I mean, you had a time. Not trying to be ignorant, but you had a time and that is your passion. So go for it. I know many of us can attest to that similar conversation you had, whether it was with yourself or with somebody else, family, friends, whomever. Hers nor yours situation changed. That was not the first step. It wasn't. But your interpretation did, and her interpretation did. She did not bypass the pain, just like you did not bypass the pain, but you all repurposed it. As psychiatrist Viktor Frankl said, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Resilience is nothing more than self transformation born from reinterpretation. So ask yourself, what story in my life needs a new narrative? A new narrative. Could the delay be in disguise a divine data stream? I don't like that. Could the delay be a disguised data stream? What strength is forming underneath what I am calling stress? Change your perspective by retraining your perception. perception. Change your perspective by retraining your perception. And you know how you do that? Pause. You know I'm going to say it. Anchor yourself. Name what you're feeling without judgment. Do not hide from your emotion, but don't sit there. Then shift your lenses, refocus. Pain often hides inside a single interpretation. So good. Refocus. Then after you refocus, please activate gratitude. Find something, especially during the hard times. Find something to be grateful for. I know this can be hard at times. I mean, look at this shutdown. Look at the cancellations of WIC and SNAP. But find something to be grateful for and hold on to that. Because what I've noticed, gratitude teaches your brain to expect hope. Gratitude teaches your brain to expect hope. That's what keeps me because I've been affected by the shutdown. Then you go ahead and you declare a new story. Speak the outcome you desire as if it's already forming. Because honestly, it is. Because whatever you speak comes to life. Remember, faith speaks before evidence arrives. And finally, embody the shift. You know what I say. Take one action towards aligning with your new perspective. You have to take a step. So here's your challenge. Choose one situation in your life right now that feels heavy. Write down 3 alternative meanings for it. For me, I'm using for the setback, it's protection. For the pause, it's preparation. For the silence, a sacred space for strategy. So do that. Then watch what happens in your body when you change your narrative. I think you're going to like the result. As we walk through this week, may you remember you are not powerless. You are not powerless in the face of your pain. You hold the authority to rename what pain means. Resilience is not resistance, it is revelation. Peace is not the absence of problems, it is the mastery of perception. So breathe, taking that deep breath, exhale, reframe, and rise. Until next time, keep flowing in freedom.
Thanks for flowing with us on the Liberating River. Subscribe, share, and come back next week for more wisdom, wealth, and alignment. Stay free, stay grounded, stay bold.